Alright, Torrey Talk times 3. This will be the last one, I promise. I'm talking about the pros of Torrey. I'm really sorry. Yeah, I love Torrey. I'm just gonna keep talking about it. So, Torrey, for me, you go in and Torrientation is you have the Torrientation before all the other students get there, which is really fun and really, like, bonding. And I can talk about that in another video if you want. But, totally proved me wrong. I was expecting to get there and then be like, alright, here's the academic expectations we have of you. And they're like, alright, let's sit down and discuss how we're gonna love people in Torrey. And I was like, okay, I like people, this is cool. I can't tell you everything about Torrientation there. It is wonderful. It's like one of my favorite Biola memories from my first semester. They just, like, I can't even explain it. There's some things that I can't really talk about until you, like, experience them, because, like, no matter how much I say, it's not gonna attest to it. They care so much. Everyone in Torrey cares so much. We had, what's called our seers. They're our leaders for Torrientation. They're all sophomores. And they just, oh man, they just love us. And it's ridiculous. Like, I'm like, what, you don't even know me. Like, what did I do to deserve this or whatever? And then your mentor in Torrey super cares about you. I can go talk to my mentor about anything. He's the coolest guy ever, and I love it. And, like, it's really cool because, like, every professor Biola is like that. Like, you can get office hours with the professor or whatever, but with Torrey, there's, like, an accountability where you have to meet with your mentor at least 4 times a semester or whatever, which is super easy, and people end up meeting them way more than that. But, like, it just, like, enforces that relationship, and it's awesome. I love it. So, Torrey is about not only reading things, discussing things, learning things. Also, I was gonna say, in discussion, like, it's really great to be able to talk about things that are really, really meaningful. Like, we aren't usually, it's not like an English class where you sit in and you're like, alright, let's try to find the allusions in this text, or let's try to find the alliteration in this poem. Like, we sit down and talk about what the author meant, but we also talk about huge issues that are very important even, like, today. And, like, we discussed really hard questions. We went into Leviticus discussing how God can, like, literally kill thousands of people, and how that's okay, and, like, which that's not even a question, because everything God does is justified. But anyways, things like that, really hard questions, and I love figuring out answers to these really deep questions with other people and discussing it with them, and it's awesome. Torrey teaches you how to work with everyone and how to be respectful to other people, especially when your personalities clash outside of session, and then you go in session and you have to be civil to them and respect their opinion. Life-changing. I've really formed a lot of really close relationships with Torrey, not in my group, but, like, outside my group. And so it's really cool. I just love people, and I love that Torrey is working with people. And so, like, the work that you put in totally pays off. It's awesome. Like I said, another one of my pros is learning what you want to learn. You can literally do whatever you want. Like, they're like, write 1 paper a semester. You can write on whatever you want, as long as you, like, get it approved. But they want you to take notes for books. I know people who write playlists for their notes, like playlists of music. I know people who make videos for their notes and talk about them. I know people who write tons of pages for their notes. Like, you can do whatever, and that's what, like, Torrey's about, is, like, finding the way that you learn and then excelling at it and pushing yourself and learning more and asking more questions, and it really teaches you how to read really well. That was something that was very interesting to me, and it applies to everything, obviously. Like, the discussing with people applies to the rest of life, and then learning to read really applies, like, in everything. You think you're reading right until you get into Torrey and you realize that you're reading all for the wrong reasons. But the funny thing is they don't really teach you. Like, you just learn. Like, I remember we went through a whole semester of reading things like, we read the Iliad and the Odyssey and the Aeneid by Virgil. We read all 3 of the Divine Comedy, the Inferno, Purgatory, Paradise. We read Beowulf, Fairy Queen by Spenser, Milton, all these difficult things, and then at the very, very end we get to Genesis, our first Bible session, and I remember picking up Genesis and being like, I didn't know how to read this. Like, it's super weird. I don't know, it blew my mind. It, like, changed my life, and I loved it. So that's awesome. And then the last thing for me, as a person, this is something else that I didn't think I would like about Torrey, because I was kind of like, along with the stereotype when I was going in, I was like, I don't know if I want to be in the stereotype immediately. Like, I don't want people to meet me and be like, oh, she's a Torrey kid. First of all, they don't even know if you're nice to people. Second of all, I'm sort of a person about influence. Like, I really desire to influence people, but not, like, for selfish reasons. Like, I just want to be close to a lot of people and know a lot of people. It's kind of like God's call in my life is to, like, know lots of people and be encouraging to people, because I'm a huge, like, encourager is a spiritual gift, and I'm not trying to, like, boast. Like, everything I'm boasting in is in God and what He's given me. But so for me, I was kind of like, well, do I want to, like, start in this group, and do I want everyone to know, like, oh, she's in Torrey, can't talk to her, whatever, which is dumb. Like, and like I said, not everyone has that stereotype of Torrey kids, because a lot of Torrey kids prove them wrong, and they're like, we are just as cool as you, and we know just as much as you, whatever. Man, I feel like I'm not making sense. I'm sorry, I'm trying. But sphere of influence. So my thought process behind it was, if I was a regular Biola student, I wouldn't be able to really get into the Torrey group of kids. Like, unless I got lucky and had Torrey kids, like, on my hall or something, because Torrey kids are pretty, like, their schedules are way different than everyone else. And I really wanted to be able to know people in that group and, like, reach them and, like, befriend them and stuff. And so, instead of, I saw it sort of as Biola is this big circle and Torrey's this little circle in the middle. And if I'm out here trying to get in, like, it's going to be really hard. But if I start in the tight group of the honors kids and then sort of work outwards, it's awesome. And that's totally how it's been for me. Like, my closest friends are Torrey kids, but they're not in my group, they're not in my house, so I don't see them in class ever. And they're also people that other people are like, you're in Torrey? Like, that's really surprising. But other than that, like, I have a huge sphere of influence in other areas, just from my major and from, like, I go hang out in, like, the public places of Biola all the time, and I just love knowing people, and I'll go introduce myself to people, and so that's cool for me to be, like, able to influence that little circle and then reach and branch out of that. So overall, sorry this went so long, overall, I love touring. I love touring because I get to learn what I want to learn, I get out of it what I put into it, and I'm pushing myself, and it's kind of like being on a track team, where, like, you're working alongside other people, but at the end of the day, you're gonna, like, get what you put in, and, like, I feel very accomplished. Like, after my first semester, I was like, I can't believe I just did that and read all those books and, like, learned so much, and then it only replaces your gen ed, so on top of that, you're learning more in your major, and it's, like, it's wonderful. I love it. It teaches you how to love other people. It teaches you that, like, at the end of the day, your mentors will be like, yeah, your work is important, and your notes are important, and your scores in session are important, your paper's important, but, like, most important is your relationship with God and other people. And so, like, I don't know, it's just awesome. And I just find a lot of, like, meaning out of it. And it's nice to be able to sit and talk about things that you really want to talk about. Not all the time, because everyone has their own opinion, but it's nice to be able to pull these deep things from things, and it's like learning about the foundation of our culture. Like, the Iliad is what started, like, all literature ever, and, like, just all these things. I could go on forever. Hopefully that was helpful to you in some way. Like I said, I'd love to talk about credits, houses, and how that affected, like, my experience, and all these other things. I can explain whatever you want. I can talk about whatever you want. I would say apply, and then pray. Just pray about it. Just pray and pray and pray and pray. I prayed about it. I got in, was skeptical, then loved it, and hopefully I'll stay in it. So yeah, that would be my advice to you. Ray, again, nice to meet you. Sorry this took so long to do, and also it's a really long video, but hopefully you will enjoy it. Anyone else who's following me, thanks for the follow. If you're watching this on my actual blog page, look at all of the posts all around. It looks so pretty. My new theme is rockin'. I love it. Yeah, thanks for the follows. Guys, stay strong. Love Jesus. Work hard. Go to Biola, please. That was supposed to be a heart. Go to Biola. It's freaking awesome. Bye.